Today's edition of Off the Menu is sponsored by the St. Louis Science Center.
Hey, it's St. Louis Post-Dispatch restaurant critic Ian Froeb with Off the Menu. This week, to wrap up the year, my 10 best new restaurants of 2014. Let's count them down. At number 10 is Old Standard Fried Chicken, which I reviewed just last week, the new fried chicken joint from Ben Paremba of Elia and Olio. At number 9 is Death in the Afternoon, the lunch restaurant in City Garden Sculpture Park from the team that brought you Blood and Sand. Unlike Blood and Sand, which is members only, Death in the Afternoon is open to the public and it's great. At number 8 is Baiku Sushi Lounge, which I reviewed just a couple of weeks ago. It's a sushi restaurant that goes a bit beyond the standard sushi template, thanks to Chef Sung Lee. Some really interesting, delicious, creative dishes here. At number 7 is one of the year's surprise restaurants, Spare No Rib, a small place on Gravois in the city that serves both barbecue and tacos and does a really good job with both. You see here the pulled pork sandwich, which might be the best pulled pork sandwich in town right now. The tacos are also excellent, and the menu's grown a bit since I reviewed it, so it's definitely worth checking out again. At number 6 is the relocated Good Pie, the Neapolitan pizzeria from Chef Mike Randolph. I found it to be even better, both in execution and just general atmosphere than the original, which is why I included it on the list so highly. At number 5 is Salt and Smoke, the new barbecue restaurant from Tom Schmidt, who owns Franco in Soulard. The Del Mar Loop restaurant serves a pretty straightforward barbecue menu, but the brisket is the real star here. Fatty beef brisket, as I wrote in my original review, might be the best piece of barbecue in St. Louis right now. At number 4 is 801 Chop House, which opened at the very end of last year in Clayton. This is the sort of luxury restaurant for this year's list. It's not cheap, but it delivers for the price. Great steaks and other chops. You see lamb chops in this picture. A really fun place if you're looking to splurge on just classic steakhouse cuisine with great service and a very long wine list. This is the place to go. Okay, the top 3. Number 3 is Grapeseed, the new bistro and wine bar from Chef Ben Anderson, who opened one of my favorite restaurants of last year, Just Bistro, but that unfortunately closed after only a few months. His new restaurant is even better. You see here the turkey leg nachos, kind of a fun example of what he can do. At number 2 is the Peacemaker Lobster and Crab Company, the highly anticipated new restaurant from Chef Kevin Nashin of Sydney Street Cafe. It lived up to the hype, really out of the box, exactly what it wants to be. Boiled lobster, which you see here, steamed crabs, po' boys with fried oysters. Just a great, fun restaurant. You know, it can be expensive if you go in for the lobster or the steamed crabs, but it also can be a very affordable meal, depending on what you get. Just a really fun restaurant. Which brings us to number 1, Three Flags Tavern, which opened in Southwest Garden. Chef John O'Brien has worked in other people's kitchens for 3 decades before he and his wife Kathy opened their own restaurant. And boy, was it worth the wait. Just a great neighborhood spot with far above average, American bistro food, gastropub food, whatever you want to call it. You see here the beef brisket burger, which is excellent. There's fried chicken that is some of the best in town. There's some old classics reinvigorated, like Steak Diane of all things. There's a great take on shrimp and grits. Sort of elevated comfort food, just perfectly executed. Just a great place, very friendly, great atmosphere. So those are this year's top 10 new restaurants. You can read more about each in this week's Go magazine. You can also find out 6 honorable mention restaurants that I included, as well as my dish of the year. I'll give you a hint. I mentioned it during this list. And also my chefs of the year, which I think you'll find an interesting choice. I hope you have a great new year, and I'll be back next week with the first review of 2015. Thanks.
Reveal the Invisible, Mysteries of the Unseen World, now playing at the St. Louis Science Center OmniMax Theater.